Ryan's doing his shit. For those of you who are still with us throughout this cluster, what are you interested in about Mars? Like, what when you think of Mars, like what comes to mind for you? I'm sitting here waiting for your responses, for you to type them out into chat.
Well, all right. So, what interests me is the possibility of life.
Yeah.
And that is what interests me the most about Mars. I really firmly hope it's there. Mm-hmm. Sure, microbes, great, whatever. I don't care as long as it's some sort of life. Now there's going to be a whole bunch of friggin' ethical questions you didn't have to answer, but until that time,
I'm actually like. Finding life on Mars would be super exciting. But I guess it's kind of not as exciting just because I know that if we do find evidence of life, if there's life on Mars currently, that it is like a microscopic kind of thing. But what I love about Mars, I like thinking about Mars in the past and what it could have been like, which brings me to my whole obsession with wanting to be able to time travel, and why I wanted to teach history before I discovered the planetarium, and that was so much better. But I love the idea of just having like robots driving around and just the imagery of Mars and just imagining sort of in a really, I mean, clearly if you're actually there, it's a miserable place to be. First of all, you got to stay in your spacesuit. It is freezing.
But it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Just think about like just this vast open terrain, all these amazing geological features,
blue sunsets,
and just think of like the quiet.
Yes.
Like how fucking quiet Mars is. Anyway, that's what draws me to Mars. It's just
I like
the lack of humans present. Just the desolation.
I could go live there.
Yeah.
I could go live there. Me, you, the dogs, winter.
Oh, they'd hate it so much.
I don't care.
Jack likes the construction possibilities as a kid.
Star Trek shipyards. Yeah. So
but I kind of don't want humans to go to Mars because we're just gonna like ruin it.
Up.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
And I realize that's such like a pessimistic view, but
it's rooted in thousands of years.
I mean, look at the history. Earth. Look what we've done to the Earth. I mean, we have a precedence.
Yes, you are completely. There's precedence. There's a lot of precedence to this. I mean, haven't we lived through the past 4 years?
Barely.
And
it was a close call at the end too. It's a close call. If you have Netflix, apparently Unsolved Mysteries Mars episode is season 1, episode 14. We can watch that too. We can watch that before we watch Mars Attacks.
Yeah, let's order our pizza. Let's get even drunker and watch all this.
I really like the like 1950s, 1960s sci-fi, because it's not that I've seen a whole lot of it or anything, but it's just I love like the posters and just how
half-naked women on the posters.
Yeah, I love that. I love the objectification of women throughout history, and in media. But no, just like the absurdity, the overblown absurdity of like 50s, 60s science fiction. It's just so much fun. My mom says that's why we'll need to colonize Mars.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Like with the 1950s, it's always funny how they have like just this like fishbowl helmet. But then they're like, and they're in shorts.
The ray gun.
And they got like they have the ray gun.
Oh, the ray gun, yes.
But then they have all this exposed skin.
No.
But I think the fishbowl.
Which would... okay, what would happen...
It depends on where you're at.
To your skin. I mean, okay, so for those of you, the average temperature on Mars is negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit. on average. But in the summer around Martian summer around the equator, it can get as high as like 67. So I mean,
warmer than I thought.
yeah, so it can actually get pretty warm, but generally it's going to be freezing as fuck. So you're going to get like instant
freezer burn,
frostbite.
Frostbite. That's the word.
Frostbite, freezer burn.
Well, I mean, eventually, yeah, you'll be like all freezer burned out.
But get instant freezer burn on Mars.
Wait, has anyone actually seen Barbarella? Mr. Naps on Twitch there mentioned it, and I know of it.
I know of Barbarella. I've seen like
I
think maybe sequences. I've seen scenes of Barbarella, but I've never actually seen Barbarella. Barbarella, is that Jane Fonda?
Sure.
Jane Fonda's Barbarella?
Sounds right. I looked it up. I'm afraid to touch my computer.
I think Jane Fonda's Barbarella.
Yeah, don't touch your computer.
Oh, Brandon's back. I can put it back on.
Put it back.
We can show him now. There he is. Look at his hair's all messed up at the top. It's fine. You're fine.
You know,
it's better now. Maybe it's Mabel.
But I can see things now, which is exciting.
This is great. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show.
You did great doing it in the dark.
Mr. Naps, remember something about sex is like food or something. Oh, and Barbarella? I mean, that fits with the 60s and what the part of the plot would be. Or part of a mechanism.
Sex, food, you gotta have it.
Okay, it is Jane Fonda. Barbarella is Jane Fonda. And Jack has seen it as a late night movie at the observatory. What observatory is showing Barbarella? Now I kind of want to watch the Barbarella just to...
It's like that bar I went into that just had porn on all the screens in Albuquerque.
It was a gay bar, wasn't it?
It was a gay bar, yes. So.
Okay, Mike. How did you end up in the gay bar that showed porn all over the walls in the Albuquerque?
Well, it was a planetarium conference.
Okay. Well,
as all good stories start.
Okay.
You don't have to name names.
Out anybody.
Yeah, you don't have to name names. Just say person X.
So, person X, he heard of a bar called Denial, which is the perfect name. Denial, and you walk around this corner. You want to go to this bar, so we go. You walk around this corner, and it's just wall to wall, just fucking porn everywhere. And it was a gay bar, yes, but it had every genre of porn you wanted. Huh. So,
did they have a macrophallic gnome porn?
I didn't quite see that on a TV,
well,
but
you would have if it was there.
I'm sure it was there.
Gnome porn.
No, yeah. Macrophallic gnome porn.
We should get some yard gnomes. Some lawn gnomes.
And put some.
That's a whole new meaning to the yard gnome, am I right?
Some special lawn gnomes.
Are we gonna make them macrophallic?
Yeah. Spice up this Mormon neighborhood.
Oh God, we should. We completely should.
Anyway, only Jack has answered what their thing about Mars that comes to mind. What they like about Mars. What my initial question was.
So it's really only the planetarium folk that... Yeah.
We're the only ones that actually think about Mars.
Yeah. Everybody else is like, hey, we're just here
yeah.
for the podcast.
Oh yeah, Mars, that's a planet.
Neat.
Yeah. And it's red, right?
Oh, I have a question. How are they landing Perseverance via Sky Crane? Like Curiosity?
Sky Crane.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely Sky Crane, yep.
Nice. Where everything has to fucking work or none of it works.
Although I know that Curiosity and Perseverance are too big for this method of landing, but my favorite method of landing is the giant bouncy ball method of landing robots on Mars, which was done with Pathfinder, Spirit, and Opportunity. And for those of you that are not aware, NASA developed basically a giant inflatable bouncy ball that they put the spacecraft in. And then they dropped it on the surface, and it bounced. And then that bouncy ball deflated, and the rovers rode on out.
And it bounced for like over a mile.
Yeah.
It was a long bounce.
Bouncy ball extreme.
I'm curious how high it would bounce on the moon. Like if they dropped, opportunity in a bouncy ball on the moon.
I would say probably twice as high.
Higher, yeah.
It's twice as high on the moon. So if the moon, if Mars is 40% Earth's gravity and the moon is 17% Earth's gravity, it's a little over twice.
There would also be nil air resistance as well.
That is true, but I would argue that Mars's atmosphere is so thin you could probably classify it as basically no.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, the rocks are a little more pointy, so may pop a few of those bouncy balls.
On the moon or on Mars?
Both.
On the moon.
On the moon.
So, why is Mars red? Your mom wants to know.
Oh, Mars is red because it is covered with rust, basically, iron oxide, which reflects red, essentially.
Well said.
So we see it as red. So it's rusty. It's a rusty planet. That iron oxide coming from it's been so long since I've talked about it. Basically, you had the water that was on Mars that then because the atmosphere then got most of it blown away by the solar wind. It got so thin, so then those molecules essentially split up. So you had the they were stripped off. So you had like the hydrogen going outward and the oxygen that then reacted with the surface rocks. And so you get iron oxide, and so that's why it's red. Right. But you just need to dig down a little bit, and you will get silicate materials, and you'll reach a layer of permafrost. So
yeah, you don't have to go far.
There's frozen water ice just really shortly below that surface layer of dirt.
Okay, your sister wants to know how a sky crane works. All right, so this is fucking
the
amazing
thing ever.
It's so awesome, the sky crane.
Okay, so as Liz said, Spirit, Opportunity, and Pathfinder had to have these big, basically inflatable. What's the thing in the car?
Airbags.
That explode around it and bounces. Now you have a weight requirement for that, and for Curiosity and Perseverance, it is too heavy, so it would just destroy these airbags. It would just rip them apart. And so what they came up with, which was just fucking brilliant. It's just amazing. So there you come into the atmosphere tens of thousands of miles per hour, really fast, and so you have
13,000 miles an hour.
13,000 miles an hour. So you have to slow down really quickly, and so you deploy this big parachute.
In fact, for Curiosity, they built the largest supersonic parachute in the world for it.
Don't forget about aerial braking as well, going through the atmosphere to slow down.
And also, before you continue, one
and
more
before
fascinating
Liz
point.
has a thing to say.
A fascinating point. I got a piece of hair sticking up, and I can't find it. It's driving me crazy.
Right.
Anyway, is that they couldn't test the shit beforehand. Thank you. Fix it. So basically, they could test like individual components, but the whole thing they couldn't actually test it on Earth because we don't have the same atmosphere. We don't have the same conditions. So it was kind of like
that's why
hope our math is right and physics operates the way we think it does.
And engineering. And that's why I said everything has to work or nothing works with this. Yeah. And it's going to be the same thing with Perseverance. So it might be a very happy episode of, Cosmic Skull.
Or just crying into our dreams.
Yeah. But anyway, so the parachute deploys and it slows you down, but it doesn't slow you down enough.
Yeah.
To land. And so they have this apparatus where it gets to a certain height and it fires these retro rockets which slow you down. And then from up underneath it lowers the rover on these cables. I was going to say strings. I knew that wasn't right. But on these cables that then lower the rover down to the ground while you're hovering above the Martian surface with these retro rockets. And as soon as the rover touches the ground, it realizes that, and it will cut the cables. Now, what needs to happen is the thing that actually lowered it, the sky crane, now needs to fly away.
It needs to get the fuck out.
It needs to get the fuck out because you don't want it to actually land on the rover and have, this amazing landing and then it all destroyed because so it's called the sky crane. You can look it up. NASA has all kinds of videos on it.
It's literally just a crane from the sky.
It lowers the rover down.
7 Minutes of Terror.
Yes, it is absolutely
so cool.
It is the most fucking cool landing other than the bouncy balls on the surface of a planet or whatever.
And terrifying. Brandon just referenced the 7 minutes of terror because that's the time delay for us between us knowing if it's worked or not. We gotta wait 7 minutes, so either it's busted or not, and we don't know.
And that's not even the time delay from Mars to Earth. It is from hitting the atmosphere to the ground, where you have the communication blackout, basically, where so it from 7 minutes from actually hitting the top of the atmosphere to landing to where you have no idea if it has been successful or not. That's why if you watch video of any landing, it doesn't matter if it's on Mars or on the moon, you have all these people that are hovering around a computer screen. And as soon as somebody says that we have contact, it erupts.
And people start either
clapping,
crying.
There's going to be champagne.
There's hugging.
Yeah, a lot of
screaming.
Hugging, high fives. So it is, and you know what? We're probably going to be the same way. And don't be surprised if I have a tear or two.
Well, I remember watching the Curiosity landing, and I watched it through the Xbox. I could watch it, and
that was on the future, wasn't it?
That was the future, and I was on the edge of the couch, just like, oh god, is it working? And then when it came through and it was successful, and just seeing everybody, I mean, because you have to realize this is years upon, decades even of life's work for these people. I mean, they're working on this for years. You have just and not just the people that are in the control room. I mean, it is so many people have built parts from other countries, and I mean, it really is, even though it's a NASA mission, it really is international in a lot of ways. And it takes years upon years to plan and build and test and launch and get there. And the culmination of a successful landing, that people are just breaking down in tears because it is just like, holy shit, we did it.
Yeah, that's just the starts.
And that's just the beginning. That's just getting there. That's not even like actually getting the thing to move and explore and the pictures working and all
so
that.
Steve Squire, who was the principal investigator of Spirit and Opportunity, when the Mars Science Labs, MSL, right? Spirit and Opportunity.
Spirit and Opportunity are the Mars Exploration Room, or it's MER.
All right, that's it. All right,
Curiosity is the Mars Science Lab.
All right, so they land, Spirit and Opportunity land, and Steve Squire, and his comments about it was, when Spirit actually rolled out onto the surface, that was the culmination of 16 years of work.
Can you imagine?
I mean, that is a long time. Yeah. Imagine working on a single project for 16 years, and it culminates then, but then you have another 6, in this particular case, something like 6 years, 13 years or whatever it was for Opportunity.
Well, initially, but it was supposed to be just 90 days. And they were like, all right, we got 90 days, 3 months now.
Oh, God.
3 months of work. And then 15 years later, Opportunity finally.
I mean, I can't even imagine that because, like, for me, if I'm working on a project, like a script for something, and it's like a week later, I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm done.
I don't have the attention span.
I'm going to go play video games.
Mr. Naps on Twitch asks, what's Mars' astrological sign?
Probably Aries.
Bullshit.
It's the male symbol.
Yeah, that is true, yeah.
Which is meaningless because astrology is bullshit. Jack on Twitch says, when we had a JPL speaker, she equated the rover was like her third child since it was she was working with it since its birth. Yeah.
That's how
Makes
they
sense.
see it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's your baby basically.
It makes me beyond terrified for the James Webb Space Telescope in development since the early 90s.
Yeah, James Webb is way over budget and over
Oh,
time frame.
way far to the right.
I really hope it goes up this year. Please
But
go up. Please go up.
James Webb will be amazing.
Be able to quote unquote sniff atmospheres.
Yeah, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the most advanced telescope that we have in space.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking terrified.
You think, let's say it all works and it gets to where it's supposed to be and works the way it's supposed to. If you think Hubble has shown us amazing views of the universe, wait till James Webb.
Let's just hope it doesn't have the same blurry issue.
Well, then
That sucks.
then it's just fucked.
Because you can't fix it, because it's
Can't
going to be,
fix it.
what, a million miles away?
It's in a Lagrangian point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
That doesn't answer my question of if it's a million miles
I think at least a million. It's at least a million.
away. At least a million? Yeah, so basically, no easy fixes for James Webb.
Nope.
Oh, God.
So let's hope it works. It'll work. It'll work. Please
It'll work.
let me let it
How
think it's
far is
gonna work.
Mars away from us? 67 million miles? Or is that
It's about 150. We're 93. Yeah, so about 57
57?
at our closest point ish, roughly
Okay.
on average.
And the moon is 200 and something
Yeah,
thousand.
248.
Miles away from us?
240,000.
Okay.
48.
248.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Space is big.
and it takes us 3 days to go that
3 days
250,000
to get-
miles.
It's
Well,
traveling
that's-
at what speed?
That's with people on board. If you're a robot, you go a little faster.
That's true. That's true.
And okay, yeah.
People are always dragging things down.
Always, yes.
Crazy drag.
I was going to bring up my issue with Rob Riggle. If you haven't seen Rob Riggle, Global Investigator, oh, please do.
Rob
It
Riggle, American comedic actor,
It is.
a former Marine.
It is great. It is absolutely
We just
great.
discovered it on Hulu.
But they did have this thing. They were talking about UFOs, and they said, that these UFOs were going too fast that a person in it would not be able to survive it. Just remember, speed does not kill. It is the acceleration or deceleration that kills you. So it's the sudden stop that kills you,
Sudden start
not
or
the
stop.
speed. Yeah.
It's like when you're in a roller coaster and you're like, whoa!
Yeah. It's the accelerations that turn you to goo or not. So it's not the speed. You can handle the speed really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
But speaking of which, since it is the Hangover and we just go wherever, I do like to point out, just to clarify, just to get it out there, that UFO doesn't mean aliens. It means unidentified flying object. It means it's a flying object you can't identify.
So
That's
like
all
if
it
it's
means.
an unknown species of bird, is that technically UFO?
Oh. So we've gone from Mars, Titanic, to food.
I did try to wrap it together talking about food and space. I gave it the old college try there.
Okay, we'll go back to it. Food and space. Yeah, the astronauts. Astronauts put a lot of hot sauce on shit to add a little extra flavor. And I had asked, how do taste buds change in space?
Do they?
They do. Yeah, so a lot of the food tastes different up there, which is why they bring the hot sauce.
Does it taste different though because it is fucking astronaut food and not real cooked food?
Obviously, the majority of the food is like dry freeze, things like that.
Yeah.
But they do have some, specialty snacks down there they can bring up. Like tacos are a good one because with the tortilla
but do
crust, it's
your
not too many
taste buds
crumbs.
change? And then what's the mechanisms that they change?
I don't know if your taste buds would change.
Well, I mean, if the
It would
food
just be
tastes, if the food changes flavor up there, I'm assuming that's on your tongue.
But it would be the food that changes though, because a freeze dried food is gonna not be the same as a non freeze dried food.
They need to. Okay, well, all right.
So how okay, when we go to Mars and we establish a base eventually one day and we could cook shit on Mars, how do we cook shit on Mars?
What?
The same way you do here.
Can we use fire on Mars?
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know.
If you're in a habitat.
Yeah, you're not going
I guess
outside.
so. You have to recreate the exact atmospheric conditions as on Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, microwave would still work.
Could you light a fire on Mars? Like if you're in a spacesuit.
Right now?
Yeah.
No.
If you're just
not
out,
enough oxygen.
if you're just out on Mars.
Not enough oxygen. No.
Carbon
dioxide. Well, there's a shit ton of carbon dioxide, but the oxygen is really low. Just ignoring the fact that the atmosphere is really low.
Katie points out that she thinks the alcohol is affecting me here, and Katie.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
You be correct. No more drink left.
Do you have any in the rocket?
No, I used it all.
Oh, okay.
It's
rocket
all
fuel?
done
You did all the rocket fuel?
That was just the melted ice and the
boys.
remnants. So, Katie always knows. She knows me so well. I don't know her as well because I didn't know she has an aversion to sweet and savory combinations.
What was the question you asked last night?
I don't know.
Oh, shit. You texted her.
Oh, I texted Katie?
Yeah, it was a text.
Oh. The future? Yes, okay.
You texted that to me too.
I did. I texted it to both of you because I wanted both of your reactions to it. But we were watching something.
Yeah.
And it said, it was talking about...
Spycraft.
Oh, it might have been Spycraft on Netflix. And something about how we were in the future. With all the technology we had, that they were talking about how we were in the future. And then I said, the future is always here. And I thought it was very profound. So I texted that to Katie and Brandon.
What did Katie say?
Not as profound as I thought it was. I had also had some drinks at the time.
Yeah, and it was only Adam that responded, right?
No. Katie responded with Adam saying, "What the fuck does that even mean? What the fuck does that even mean?" Which it meant was that I had some drinks and thought I was being real smart. Mm-hmm. But if you think about it,
we always live in the most technologically
the future
advanced...
is always here because we're always progressing through time constantly.
No, that means we're always living in the past, Liz.
I just went through several future seconds just then.
Well, we always live in the most currently.
Okay, we're clearly always in the present, but fuck the present.
No, we are always in the most technologically advanced part of human history until 1 second from now, the future from now.
Until something happens and takes out all of our means of technology and we end up back in the fucking dark ages.
You know what? I get you. I get you on this one.
You get me.
I get you on this one.
I know. Because we're married. Gets me. Jack Hat says on Twitch, I know some of the freeze-dried foods that are used in gastronomy can get rehydrated with different water-based liquids to change the flavor. Like freeze-dried apple rehydrated with cinnamon seltzer that makes a salad that tastes like apple pie.
Well, that's cool.
Wow.
Ooh. Oh, God, I didn't think about rehydrating freeze-dried foods with different things. Huh. Well, that's kind of like the Sin Apple Pie drink, where it's cinnamon whiskey and apple juice makes it taste like an apple pie.
Mm-hmm. It really does, guys.
It really does.
This isn't helping me not be hungry.
Well, that's your problem. I don't know. I mean, that would help me eat everything if everything tasted like pie.
I know, right?
Oh God.
Pecan
apple
pie beets.
cherry pie. Cherry pie is my favorite pie. I mean, I know that beet juice can be added as a coloring, like for things in like I don't know for like fake meat.
Yeah, that Impossible Burger.
Yeah, they
or
add
whatever
like
it is that
beets or
Burger
beet.
King has.
Yeah, they add
They
like
use
beets or
beet
beet
juice.
juice to
Ketchup,
coloring
quote unquote ketchup,
to make it look more like raw meat.
blood.
Yeah,
Coming in.
So always going back to the French vampires on Mars.
and that's why Mars is red is because it's covered in beet juice.
Facts with Liz.
Hashtag facts.
So join us in 2 weeks
2 weeks.
for what we love about the universe, what we love about astronomy, physics, in my perspective, maybe.
Hashtag spoilers.
Well, I haven't thought about it. And then, of course, on the 18th, when we hopefully have Perseverance land on Mars.
Oh, it's going to land. It's just a question of how.
Hopefully.
Will it be a crash landing or will it be a nice gentle touchdown?
Hopefully in a positive way.
Will
in
we
a
be
soft,
celebrating with tears or will we be just crying?
in a soft landing. Let us hope it is a soft landing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And that I would like to just give a shout out to apparently corn as a popular pizza topping in Japan and Poland loving beet juice with pomegranate. And that was Cosmos with Cosmos Hangover Edition.
What a wild ride.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Truly.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Stay safe, y'all.
All right.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye, everybody.
Adios.
Cheers.
It's been fun.